So Nike finally released their trailer for Caitlin Clark's sneaker. They finally...
At last. At last. Nike has finally taken a logical step after months of seeing them bumble their golden goose. Caitlin Clark recently received the ad she was due. And the people who dislike it are going crazy over it, boy. The keyboards are smoking, the tears are streaming, and the saltiness is getting to the point that the Dead Sea would be envious.
Heard already, I'm pretty sure you have. Nike has released a new Caitlin Clark commercial, and they made it their business to show love and show out for none other than CC. Now, we know fans has definitely been in odds with the company ever since signing Caitlin Clark. A lot of people feel as if they put Caitlin Clark on the back burner. I don't know, man. I'm a Nike fan. I know a lot of people going to disagree with me on this, but I think Nike was strategic with their growth. People could be mad about it or feel whatever way they feel about it. But one thing I can tell you is that I feel as if they were strategic.
When Nike released that Cub ad for Caitlin's new PE sneakers, it seemed as though the brand had finally remembered why they had signed the most alluring basketball player. The woman who brought women's basketball into the mainstream on her own, who packs arenas like she's giving away free money, has finally landed an advertisement that reflects her enthusiasm. And the critics are furious.
Caitlin Clark and Nike are officially dropping Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever player-exclusive Kobe 5s in just a couple weeks. So this shoe was first seen being worn by Caitlin and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear.
Let's discuss what Nike recently revealed. This is a statement rather than merely a commercial. Nike is making it clear to the world who controls this league when Caitlin puts on those Kobe 5s, sits in that chair, and her eyes change into those snake-like slits, embodying Kobe's Mamba attitude. The entire atmosphere, the cinematography, and the visual effects. It's high-end. Instead of the shit that has been thrown at women's basketball for decades, this is the kind of treatment that is only given to superstars.
We got something for Caitlin. We got Mamba Caitlin. We got Mamba Caitlin. Where is the Mamba Caitlin? There we go. We have the Mamba logo. We have Caitlin on Demon Time right now. But yeah, it's good to note that they finally announced it as a Caitlin logo. Or sorry,
However, the typical suspects emerge from their caves to voice their grievances. What is causing her to receive so much attention? How do the other players fare? For a player in their second year, this is excessive. The same weary chorus that has been complaining ever since Caitlin entered a court of professionals. They refuse to acknowledge what is directly in front of them. Caitlin Clark is the face of women's basketball, and Nike has finally dared to promote her in this way.
Now, people felt the type of way, about Caitlin Clark getting these PE shoes. A lot of people felt as if she should have her own signature shoe, which she should. She very should. But guys, I don't think there's any player that got a Kobe PE, bro. Like, do y'all know who Kobe was in the basketball world, bro? I'm just saying, like, Kobe didn't, allow, even his family, I'm pretty sure, is not just going to give his signature shoe to just anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, other NBA players ain't even.
What's the best part, you ask? Within 5 minutes, those sneakers were sold out. 5 minutes. Like a Travis Scott drop, people were swarming the Nike SNKers app. The retail price of $190 was gone before you could reload the site. They were already selling on eBay for $375 in just 2 hours. Additionally, StockX listed them at an average of $365 by the end of the day, with some pairings reaching $800. Not some made-up hype, but the Caitlin Clark effect in reality.
These things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire, and these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? Because I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall, and I need one for my feet, because these things is hitting right here, and no, I don't want to pay $600 on.
If you find it entertaining, kindly subscribe. The fact that Nike finally accepted what the data had been shouting for more than a year has angered the critics. The WNBA saw its best viewership in 24 years thanks to this player. Each game in the league drew an average of 657,000 viewers. Additionally, Caitlyn's Indiana Fever appeared in 19 of the 22 games that attracted over 1 million viewers. She snapped it off and sent it into orbit rather than merely moving the needle. However, let's confront the issue that has everyone so confused. Nike was criticized for months for playing Caitlyn slowly while promoting A'ja Wilson's trademark sneaker.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless, I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now, Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend, rest in peace, great basketball player. But in my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design just for her, no collab.
People quickly tried to turn the A'ja vs. Caitlyn debate into something about anything other than business, which was its true focus. Jordan Rogers, a 15-year Nike veteran, was among the former employees who were disparaging Nike, accusing them of having the largest influencer in American sports since Michael Jordan and somehow persuading themselves that they needed to slow down their growth. When A'ja Wilson disclosed that she had been aware of her Nike contract for 2 years, but pretended to be overlooked when Caitlyn's contract was exposed, the intensity of animosity reached its highest point. She was sitting on a signature shoe deal that she had been concealing when she sent the tweets, the subtweeting, and the passive-aggressive remarks. What phony drama! However, that is what occurs when a player transcends a sport, and some online communities are unable to deal with it.
Your stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature.
Nike has now changed their strategy and is focusing entirely on their greatest strength. It's more than simply marketing in the Kobe commercial. Nike is at last realizing what they have. They can't disregard Caitlyn like she's just another WNBA player. She pulls everyone together and is a cultural phenomenon. Men who had never watched women's basketball, families, children, and casual fans who turned into ardent supporters. She is broadening the scope of the sport as a whole. She is authentically, rather than artificially, connected to Kobe's legacy in the commercial. Since college, she has been wearing Kobe, which she refers to as her babies and miracle shoes. It wasn't cosplay when she adopted that Mamba mindset for the advertisement. It was an acknowledgement of a shared spirit. This relationship would have delighted the late, great Kobe, a player that tackles the game with the same deadly instinct, obsessive dedication, and capacity to improve everyone around them.
The long-awaited, highly anticipated Caitlin Clark player exclusive, not her signature shoe. Remember, they're not creative enough to think of that. But that should be coming out in a few months as well. But the player exclusive, they're starting to give it the push. This is the rollout. We got a clothing line coming before the holidays. Let's see how many resources Nike puts behind Caitlin Clark now that we're going to start getting some of her merchandise coming out, and fans are in.
Here's what the naysayers are truly upset about, though. At last, Nike is treating Caitlyn like the despot she has always been. Not the main event, not the co-headliner, not the also featuring artist. Her branded shoe is expected to smash all previous records in women's sports marketing when it launches later this year. Decades of sports marketing standards are fundamentally challenged by Nike's presentation of Clark as the main attraction. Women's athletics have historically received only 0.4% of all sports sponsorships, making them viewed as secondary content. Nike is proving that female athletes can demand the same high-end marketing attention typically afforded for male superstars by putting Clark at the center of significant campaigns, such as their first Super Bowl commercial in almost 30 years. Her 8-year, $28 million contract seemed to be the best deal of the century. As of right now, this is the highest-paying endorsement agreement ever made for a female basketball player. This financial commitment encourages other firms to reevaluate their own distribution of marketing resources toward female athletes by sending a message to the general public that women's basketball has achieved a level of commercial viability that warrants significant corporate investment.
You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around Gatorade, State Farm, Game Bridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something.
The market for resale is honest. When your player-only Cobes are selling $756 pairs at an average of $365, which is over double the retail price, and touching $8,000 on StockX. Regular athlete demand is not an issue for you. Superstar territory is here. This is a cultural impact at the Jordanian level. The fact that just 13,000 pairs were produced for the first drop simply serves to highlight the high level of demand for anything that Caitlin Clark touches. Prior to Caitlin's arrival, the WNBA had not had a 7-figure broadcast audience in 16 years. They are now commonplace. The average viewership of her games is 1.09 million, whereas that of non-Clark games is 414,000. WNBA games with Clark typically draw 15,591 spectators, a 105% increase over the 7,645 that attend when she's not playing. Even though Clark's games only make up a small portion of all WNBA games played, road game attendance soars by 87% when she visits rival teams, accounting for 33.5% of all WNBA attendance.